We are witnessing a fundamental shift in the global power dynamic. For decades, we viewed the Chinese model of military-civil fusion as a rigid, top-down hierarchy. Meanwhile, the U.S. relied on a decentralized, market-driven ecosystem. But those lines are blurring. Today, the sovereign algorithm represents a strategic convergence. The U.S. is rapidly adopting a more integrated approach, pulling commercial innovation, venture capital, and academic research directly into the national security fold. This isn't just about defense, it's about the total integration of a nation's technological capacity. For enterprise leaders, this means your R&D and data strategies are no longer just commercial assets, they are pillars of national sovereignty. The era of the neutral tech company is over. Whether through central command or strategic alignment, every innovation is now a component of a larger, unified strategic apparatus.
Historically, we operated under the assumption that American innovation thrived on total independence, while our adversaries relied on state subordination. This divergence defined the early tech landscape. However, as we moved into a period of doctrinal clash, the limitations of decentralized autonomy became a liability on the global battlefield. We have now reached a point of profound convergence. The United States is rapidly pivoting away from the hands-off Silicon Valley model, increasingly utilizing hard power, contracts, mandates, and strategic blacklists to forge a de facto American military-civil fusion. The era of the neutral tech provider is over. In this high-stakes environment, private autonomy is no longer viewed as a competitive advantage. It is a strategic risk. To lead in this new reality, enterprise strategy must be inextricably linked to national security. There is no longer a middle ground.
We are witnessing a fundamental divergence in how global AI is being built and deployed. On one side, we see a model of total state subordination. In this ecosystem, private innovation is a direct extension of national power. There is no daylight between the commercial lab and the military. Corporate resistance is non-existent because the state views independent ethics as a form of sabotage. Conversely, the Western model is defined by autonomy and structural friction. Here, venture capital, tech giants, and the defense sector operate in silos, often at odds. Our CEOs and engineers act as secondary policymakers, imposing ethical guardrails that, while vital for democratic values, introduce significant friction. This is a clash of structural philosophies. One side prioritizes absolute alignment through control. The other relies on a decentralized, often fragmented marketplace of ideas. Navigating this landscape requires us to understand that our greatest strength, our independence, is also our most complex operational challenge.
The boundary between commercial innovation and national defense has effectively been erased. We are witnessing a systemic fusion designed to build a sovereign tech base, where the distinction between a tech giant and a military lab no longer exists. By institutionalizing direct transfers between commercial leaders, elite universities, and the PLA, Beijing has created an unhindered pipeline for strategic dominance. This engine is powered by a relentless pursuit of data dominance, aiming to control nearly a third of the global data share by 2030. Simultaneously, rapid procurement cycles are injecting commercial AI agility directly into military pipelines, bypassing legacy bureaucracies. The strategic intent is absolute. AI development is hardwired into the state security apparatus from inception. This ensures total alignment with national objectives, eliminating the possibility of corporate autonomy or ethical defiance. In this ecosystem, innovation is, by definition, an instrument of the state.
Relying on commercial AI introduces systemic vulnerabilities that threaten operational continuity. First, we must confront ethical pushback. As seen from the exit of Project Maven to Anthropic's current red lines, commercial vendors operate under corporate mandates that can abruptly sever support for defense initiatives. This creates a reliability gap that no mission commander can afford. Even more critical is the tethered weapon risk. Commercial AI is never truly disconnected. It requires constant telemetry pings back to the vendor. This metadata, timing, latency, and volume serves as a digital beacon. Adversaries don't need to decrypt your prompts to win.
They only need to analyze the heartbeat of your traffic to map troop tempo and strategic intent in real time. To maintain a competitive edge, we must move beyond these commercial dependencies and prioritize absolute operational autonomy.
We are witnessing a fundamental divergence in the future of strategic competition. On one side, China is architecting a system of algorithmic authority. Their command brain vision seeks to centralize control, using AI to drive top-down decision-making and dominate the cognitive landscape before a kinetic shot is ever fired. It is a doctrine of total systemic integration. Conversely, the U.S. is leveraging AI to supercharge human initiative. Through frameworks like JADC2, the goal is mission command, pushing intelligence to the tactical edge. Here, AI doesn't replace the commander. It acts as a cognitive enabler, allowing decentralized units to outpace and outmaneuver the opposition through superior situational awareness. The strategic question is no longer just about who has the better algorithm, but which doctrine scales under the chaos of real-world friction. One bets on the machine, the other bets on the empowered human.
China's shift toward intelligentized warfare marks a fundamental departure from traditional command. This doctrine centers on the command brain, an AI-enabled architecture designed to synthesize vast data streams and penetrate the fog of war in real time. Crucially, this system is a deliberate solution to institutional rigidity. By leveraging AI-driven decision support, the PLA seeks to bypass initiative gaps inherent in hierarchical structures, ensuring rapid, decisive action. This intelligence extends to the tactical edge through swarm autonomy, autonomous formations that negotiate tasks and execute strikes independently, even in contested, jammed environments. The objective is total cognitive overmatch. By automating the decision-making cycle, they aim to operate at a tempo that renders traditional human-centric command obsolete. In this new era of conflict, the speed of algorithmic processing is the ultimate high ground.
The future of U.S. defense rests on a fundamental shift: AI-empowered mission command. We are moving beyond centralized control to a model where AI acts as a cognitive enabler at the tactical edge. This isn't about replacing the commander. It's about augmenting human decision-making within the chaos of the modern battlefield. Simultaneously, the Replicator initiative addresses the challenge of scale, deploying thousands of attritable autonomous systems to offset adversary mass. However, technology alone is not the solution. Our greatest strategic hurdle remains integration. To realize the vision of JADC2 and a truly seamless kill web, we must dismantle the legacy data silos and cultural friction between service branches. True dominance requires more than just superior algorithms. It requires a unified, interoperable ecosystem that transforms distributed data into decisive, synchronized action.
We are witnessing a fundamental divergence in how global powers architect their AI futures. On one hand, the strategy is shifting towards sovereign agility. By leveraging open-weight models at a fraction of traditional compute costs, adversaries are prioritizing rapid edge deployment and independent infrastructure, such as sovereign LEO constellations, to eliminate reliance on foreign kill switches. Conversely, the Western reliance on centralized cloud moats creates a dangerous paradox. By concentrating commercial model weights within air-gapped classified networks, we are effectively moving our most valuable AI assets into systemic honeypots. This centralization doesn't just create a single point of failure. It provides a high-value, high-density target for sophisticated, state-sponsored persistent threats. To maintain a competitive edge, we must recognize that traditional security moats are becoming liabilities. The future belongs to those who can balance sovereign control with the resilience of a distributed, agile architecture. We have reached a definitive inflection point in national strategy. The era of treating Silicon Valley as a detached commercial laboratory is over. By early 2026, the strategic calculus shifted. Decentralized innovation, once our greatest strength, is now viewed as a critical vulnerability in a global arms race. We are witnessing the end of the science fair mentality, where technology was developed for novelty or market share. In its place, the U.S. has initiated a hard pivot toward a dirigiste model, actively consolidating the commercial tech sector into the defense industrial base. This is a transition to a wartime footing. The mandate is clear. AI and emerging technologies are no longer merely tools for productivity.
They are instruments of state power and kinetic dominance. For the enterprise, the message is stark. The boundary between commercial autonomy and national security has effectively vanished.
The era of private sector gatekeeping in national defense has come to an end. The All Lawful Purposes Mandate reclaims strategic sovereignty over artificial intelligence, ensuring that mission requirements, not corporate boardrooms, dictate operational capabilities. We are transitioning from voluntary ethical guardrails to a non-negotiable procurement standard. If an action is lawful and congressionally sanctioned, AI providers cannot obstruct it. To enforce this, we are prepared to leverage the Defense Production Act and supply chain blacklists to eliminate corporate resistance and guarantee mission readiness. This framework scales GenAI.mil to 3 million DoD personnel across IL-5 and classified networks. The strategic imperative is clear. The military dictates AI warfare policy, ensuring our technological edge is never blunted by private sector vetoes. We are securing the frontier of AI to ensure that when the nation calls, the technology responds without hesitation.
We are witnessing a fundamental bifurcation of the AI industry, where the definition of safety has collided with the requirements of national security. On one side, we see the holdouts. By adhering to strict ethical red lines, specifically refusing to support autonomous weaponry or mass surveillance, firms like Anthropic have found themselves marginalized, labeled as a supply chain risk, and facing frozen sovereign contracts. In stark contrast, the compliant path prioritizes an all lawful purposes standard. By removing ideological constraints, players like xAI have secured the keys to the kingdom: top-secret classified operations and deep Pentagon integration. This isn't just a philosophical divide, it is a structural split in the U.S. market. For every enterprise leader, the message is clear. Your choice of AI partner now determines your eligibility for the most significant capital flows and infrastructure projects of the coming decade. The paradigm of modern defense has shifted from fragmented procurement to total vertical integration. We are witnessing the birth of a new military-industrial complex where intelligence, communication, and delivery are no longer siloed. They are a single, frictionless ecosystem. While legacy incumbents hesitate over the ethical complexities of lethal applications, defense-first innovators are embedding themselves directly into the mission. By fusing unfiltered AI processing with unjammable satellite backbones and dominant launch infrastructure, these players have effectively compressed the kill chain. This is more than a technological leap, it is a strategic takeover. In this high-stakes environment, the competitive advantage belongs exclusively to those who control the entire stack. Speed is no longer a luxury, it is the ultimate deterrent. To remain relevant, we must recognize that the traditional boundaries of defense have been permanently dismantled. The global race for AI dominance has reached a critical inflection point, where deployment speed is now the primary metric of success, often at the direct expense of safety. As nations adopt aggressive military-civil fusion strategies to maintain parity, we are accelerating the transition from advisory tools to fully agentic workflows, systems capable of independent operational planning and execution. This shift creates a fundamental accountability gap. As we move toward high-speed algorithmic combat, the distinction between human intent and machine agency is dissolving. We must confront the reality that meaningful human oversight is rapidly becoming a nominal checkbox rather than a functional safeguard. When strategic decisions occur at machine speed, we risk a future where human agency is relegated to the sidelines, leaving us with a system where accountability is lost in the code. The challenge now is ensuring that technology serves our command, rather than dictating it.
We have reached a critical inflection point where the boundary between commercial innovation and national security has permanently dissolved. The era of the neutral tech giant is over. As China pivots toward intelligentized warfare, the United States has responded by integrating the commercial AI sector directly into its sovereign defense apparatus. This is not merely a policy shift, it is a structural transformation of the entire industry. For enterprise leaders, this means the days of Silicon Valley acting as an independent arbiter of global security are behind us. Every breakthrough in compute and every leap in algorithmic efficiency is now viewed as a strategic asset for the state. we must recognize that the future of artificial intelligence is no longer just about market share. It is inextricably bound to national survival and grand strategy. The mission has changed, and the stakes are now absolute.